Hello, Zedekai1219 here with another overview. This time, I'll be covering the Warrior of the Beginning, Warrior of Light. As always, thanks to DB for some of the English translate names and Famita for all the info I gathered. Since we're covering an already existing character, this overview, along with other overviews of this type, will be fairly shorter. Without further ado, let's get right into this character. Warrior of Light's LD ability, Bitter End, raises party brave by 150% of his initial brave, then triggers an 8-hit ranged brave plus HP attack, which has 150% overflow and deals 50% splash damage. This inflicts 5 turns of target lock on all targets and grants party 7 turns of a shield which blocks all brave damage based on 300% of own initial brave, and 10 turns of special effect Guardian Shield. This skill has 3 uses in total. The buff, Guardian's Shield, raises party initial brave, max brave, and attack by 20% and defense by 60%. It also allows the party to negate all HP damage lower than said party member's shield value. Keep in mind that HP damage does not lower the shield's value. Warrior of Light's LD raises his initial brave by 30% and attack by 90%, and the rest of the limit breaks are shown above. Please pause the video to read at your own leisure. Warrior of Light's finishing burst, Ultimate Shield, raises his brave by 250% of initial brave, and triggers a 12-hit group ranged brave plus HP attack which deals proportional damage. A times 1.6 multiplier is added when attacking a single target. Brave damage dealt can exceed 150% of the cap, and HP damage dealt can exceed 200% of the cap. Warrior of Light's BT effect grants a party brave regen based on their current shield value, and grants a 50% gained and stolen brave overflow limit. Warrior of Light gets a second, albeit small rework. His C55 now gives Shining Shield's brave gain 120% overflow, and the potency of the shield has been increased, with it now being based on 300% of Warrior of Light's initial brave. Its duration, along with the duration of Will of Light, has been increased from 5 turns to 7 turns. Brave Attack Plus and Double Plus now raise the party's brave by 100% of his initial brave before the brave hit, and as for HP Plus, a melee brave attack has been added and it now has 120% overflow. As for HP Double Plus, the brave hit has been increased to 2 with a slight potency increase, and it now has 120% gained brave overflow and 150% stolen brave overflow. His C60 gives him 2 additional uses of Dual Buckler, with the skill count being increased to 8. Its potency has been greatly increased, now has 180% overflow, and the same buff improvements from his C55 applies to his C60. Oh, and before I forget, Warrior of Light's best in slot artifact is his C50, class change up 2 star, and either attack plus 108 or initial brave plus 170.
Hey Scott, what's better? My artifacts are C50 attack goddess.
Man, you're making this easy. Mighty artifacts.
You failed.
What?
Hopefully I can throw in more memes in between segments of my overviews, but without further ado, let's get into that part not a lot of people care about. With Laguna EX Realization, his EX ability, Ragnarok Buster, gets a tremendous potency boost, 200% overflow, and it now inflicts a framed 50% attack down, 60% defense down, and 50% speed down for 6 turns. His bonus sphere, All Range Critical Boost Down All, is an E-type sphere which inflicts a 30% max brave down debuff on all targets for 3 turns when dealing a critical hit with an AoE brave hit. At 1 out of 3, Laguna's max brave and attack are raised by 60%. At 2 out of 3, he starts out with 6 turns of 40% attack up, 30% physical attack up, and manly charm, and the party starts out with a 60% max brave up, all for 6 turns. Additionally, when a wave starts, all enemies are inflicted with a framed 50% attack down, 60% defense down, and 50% speed down for 6 turns. At 3 out of 3, the skill becomes a 6-hit group ranged brave plus single target HP attack executed twice with a moderate potency boost, and Laguna also permanently gains access to Brave Attack Double Plus and HP Attack Double Plus. Brave Double Plus is a 3-hit ranged Brave attack with low action delay, and HP Attack Double Plus is a 2-hit group ranged Brave plus single target HP attack with 120% overflow and low action delay. As for Laguna's rework, his C55 gives him 2 additional uses of grenade, totaling up to 8. It now has 150% overflow, the potency of defense now has been increased to 60%, and the potency of speed now has been increased to 50%. His C60 gives him 2 additional uses of shotgun, totaling up to 8. The brave hit was increased to 6 with a moderate potency boost, and it now has 150% overflow. Additionally, Thancred also gets the EX Realization. His EX ability gains a tremendous potency boost and it now has 150% overflow. This skill's plus variant now has 8 hits with a tremendous potency boost. His bonus sphere, Weak Poison All, inflicts a poison effect on all targets which lowers their brave by 30% of their initial brave on their turn for 6 turns when dealing weakness damage. At 1 out of 3, Thancred's max brave is raised by 40% and his attack is raised by 60%. At 2 out of 3, he starts out with 8 turns of 40% attack up and 40% max brave up. Additionally, the first skill he uses is free, excluding certain abilities. At 3 out of 3, becomes a 4-hit magic brave plus HP attack executed twice with a tremendously potency boost and 180% overflow. The plus variant becomes an 8-hit magic brave plus HP attack that executed twice with a tremendous potency boost and 230% overflow. With both variants, Thancred's brave is raised by 50% of damage done upon the first HP attack and now deals 20% splash damage. Thancred also permanently gains access to Brave Attack Double Plus and HP Attack Double Plus, and Brave Attack Double Plus Ninki if conditions are met. In this case, when Ninki is at least 3 levels. Brave Double Plus is a 3-hit melee Brave attack which deals weak damage versus target inflicted with poison or intense poison. It also inflicts the poison on the target for 4 turns. Brave Double Plus Ninki is the same as above except it consumes 3 levels of Ninki, nullifies action delay, does not consume turn count, and grants a free skill usage excluding certain abilities. HP Double Plus is a 3-hit melee Brief plus HP attack which deals weak damage versus target inflicted with poison or intense poison, has 120% overflow, and inflicts poison for 6 turns. As for Thancred's rework, his C55 makes Juggling Wasp Brave hit to 6 with a tremendous potency boost. It now has 180% overflow, removes the HP attack condition, and extends the duration of the 40% attack up and the enhanced Brave attack by 2 turns, now being 8 turns. His C60 grants 2 additional uses of Shadow Fang, totaling up to 9. Its Brave hits have been increased to 5 with a tremendous potency boost, now deals 50% splash damage, and the inflicted poison debuff is now inflicted on all targets. Additionally, the potency of the inflicted poison is improved, now lowering the inflicted brave by 120% of the initial brave, and the granted max brave up potency was increased to 40% with a 2-turn duration increase. His C65's inflicted poison debuff has also been adjusted so that it now has the same improved effects as the one inflicted by Shadow Fang. As for the best in slot artifacts for the previously mentioned 2 characters, Laguna would want Attack plus 108 and the C50, Charismatic Aura up 2-star, which raises brave damage dealt with AoE attacks by 5%. Max Brave plus 330 is a good alternative to his C50. On the other hand, Thancred would just want Attack plus 108 and Max Brave plus 330. Warrior of Light returns as the character to not only close Act 2 of DFFOO's story, but to also open the beginning of the Neo-Lufenia era. His LD provides him a huge party utility by allowing the party to negate HP damage as long as the shield is high enough. This proves to be huge versus enemies who like to spam HP attacks, and since his shields were buffed with his rework, he proves to be an amazing tank and shield provider. However, despite being a tank, he still does not have any form of last stand, and his shields can still potentially be penetrated with hard-hitting attacks. Thankfully, his longevity has been increased with a better HP plus and more uses of Throw Buckler. Laguna gets a reasonably good rework and his debuff potencies are good. Having 3-frame debuffs by his side allows him to not get them pushed off, allowing him to keep doing consistent damage, so as long as they aren't cleansed. However, due to Lufenia now being a thing, he isn't very good at what he does at this point, despite getting the job done in some debuff reliant Lufenias. He's very debuff reliant, and there are other characters who can do what he does much better, and even then his damage is not that great. Thancred, like Laguna, is also very debuff reliant, and if the targets aren't inflicted with poison or immune to it, he hits like a wet noodle. However, he has great longevity, and if the targets are inflicted with poison, he can hit very hard and can even hit the cap in some Lufenia stages. He's the better of the last two units to get an EX Realization, and if you want to build one of the two, Thancred is the one to go for. Aside from those two characters, I would highly recommend Warrior of Light if you're in need of a shield provider who can protect your allies. Hope you enjoyed today's overview, and for all of you global players, good luck with the Lufenia and some of the cancer it comes with.